The CEO of United Healthcare was just shot and killed in Midtown Manhattan, and the killer is still on the loose. This is only 2 weeks after 3 innocent and defenseless people were randomly stabbed in broad daylight in, you guessed it, Manhattan as well. Yeah, those gun control laws sure are working real well, aren't they? Let's get to it. What is up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. If you did not already know, my name is Jay Casa, and I am just a red-blooded American patriot living behind enemy lines here in the great state of New Jersey. And if you get value after watching this video, please smash that like button down below, and also consider subscribing because we are building a tight-knit community here. You can see it in the comment section. I say this every video, of like-minded individuals who are looking to fight for, protect, and defend our Second Amendment rights here in the great state of New Jersey, as well as other blue states like it, where we always have to do so. It's under constant assault all the time, our Second Amendment rights. So if that intrigues you, interests you, hit the subscribe button and a notification bell so you can stay up to date on my weekly videos. And in this video, I wanted to go over the recent murder of Brian Thompson, the CEO of United Healthcare near the Hilton of Midtown Manhattan. I wanted to talk about it from a couple of different perspectives. First, how was this guy able to actually pull this off and still not get caught? Second, why do I think that he did it, which is very, very important? And third, why this is yet another prime example of why gun control simply does not work. So first, how was he able to pull this off? So everyone's already seen the video, I'm sure by now, but if not, here it is again. As you can see in the video, the shooter has what looks like a standard sort of Glock type setup with a long suppressor on it, and you can clearly see that he had to rack the slide back after each and every shot. When I first saw the video, I figured the combination of a suppressor or maybe some low grain ammo or something contributed to making the gun not cycle properly. So I figured maybe this was some sort of professional hitman, albeit not a very good one. But the police apparently found 3 live rounds on the ground, and he only hit target twice, and which was unfortunately for him enough to kill him. Then I actually looked into suppressors. As some of you probably here in New Jersey already know, that suppressors here are illegal, as well as in New York and New York City. More on that later. Apparently you need what's called a Nielsen device, or a booster spring, in other words, to allow the gun to cycle effectively. So clearly this guy was no professional, and at most he was maybe someone who's taken a couple pistol classes. I do still think that it looks like he was expecting to have to rack the slide back manually, but that could have been part of his own training, who knows. He then jogged away, got on a city bike, and headed into Central Park, and has not been found since. Authorities have shared that he took a bus from Georgia to New York City to get there, and used a fake New Jersey ID to get a hotel room. He also stopped at a Starbucks and did show his face, shown here. Now, if any of you have ever been into New York City, specifically Manhattan, and even more specifically, this part of Manhattan, at this time of year, it is extremely, extremely busy. There's NYPD everywhere, and there's NYPD surveillance cameras literally on every block. They're up on the traffic lights at every single turn. So how this guy is still on the loose to me is baffling. And I would venture to guess that he is long gone out of the city by now. He could have shot straight west to the Hudson River, taken a ferry over here to New Jersey without even making a turn. Now, let's get into the second part of this video, why he did it. So there has been so much speculation on why this guy did what he did. And honestly, I was not gonna make this video until I actually saw some of the reactions that I was seeing on social media. I need to ask a question. Where are we at in society when it seems like over half of our country is okay with a dude being shot and killed in the back because we think he's the CEO of the wrong company, or we deem that he makes too much money? Clearly, this is a recurring theme on the left part of the aisle in this country, but I'm seeing it even on the right as well. I think it's important to take a step back and say that we don't know why Brian Thompson, the CEO, was clearly targeted in a murder like this. Could it be that this was a disgruntled citizen that just lost their mom or grandpa because of denied coverage by United Health? Sure, of course it's possible. That's clearly what many Americans wish it ends up being, which I find weird since 75% of Americans are actually happy with their health insurance plan. But could it be something else? A disgruntled employee, former employee, or even just a flat out crazy person? Yeah, I would say those are at least just as likely. But here's what the media has not covered much of. Apparently United Health back in February of this year was under the scope of an antitrust investigation. 2 weeks before that news was released to the public, Brian Thompson, the CEO, who's now deceased, and other top executives of the company sold millions of dollars of their stock. This started an inside trading investigation on Brian Thompson as well as the other top executives. Brian Thompson, by the way, sold over $15 million worth of his shares. You see, this story has tabloid power, especially since it happens right in New York City. The ultra-rich CEO who makes his money on the dead bodies of denied insurance coverage and a vigilante of sorts finally seeks justice and guns down the CEO on the way to a $3,000 per night hotel room. But I tend to follow the money, and if I were a betting man, which I'm not, I would say it had more to do with the antitrust lawsuit and the insider trading lawsuits than anybody's denied coverage. Maybe someone else figured Brian Thompson knew too much and would be a liability to them during a trial. But just like anyone else, I could be wrong. Now, lastly, let's get to the gun control aspect of this and why it shows that gun control just simply does not work. And the reasons are obvious. First, suppressors, as I mentioned, are illegal to own and operate in New York as well as here in New Jersey. That clearly did not stop the criminal from having one and using one in order to take out his target. Of course, having a firearm in the city of New York is extremely limited and next to impossible, even post-Bruin decision. Now, did that stop the criminal from having a gun? No. It just disarms law-abiding citizens like every other gun control measure out there. Now, if this was in a free state and the target Brian Thompson was carrying himself, with the gun malfunctions as part of the equation, he could have, in my view, easily had time to return fire and potentially could have saved his life. But I guess we'll never know. This brings me to my last point, which I hit on in my last video of the Manhattan stabbings. The decades and decades of degradation of the Second Amendment in the state and city of New York has not only disarmed us of firearms, but disarmed us of freedom and liberty. Now, if you go and watch the video again, there were taxi drivers there that did nothing to help. There was another bystander there that did nothing to help. And honestly, I can't blame them, can you? How could you, when if you stand up and help and do the right thing, you could be made an example of and put in prison, just like Daniel Penny, who's currently on trial for the manslaughter of Jordan Neely. He took down a threatening man on the subway, had him in a chokehold, he died, and now he may be looking at years and years behind bars. Cases like this, especially in this area, are the reason I was first interested in creating this channel in the first place. A YouTube channel focused on us Second Amendment supporters here in New York, New Jersey, as well as other blue states like it, because our Second Amendment rights are under constant assault and threat by gun-grabbing politicians in our states. You see, you can't just be a Second Amendment supporter anymore. In my opinion, you really have the obligation to be a Second Amendment advocate. Be vocal about your Second Amendment rights, donate to pro-Second Amendment causes who fight the good fight for us in the courtrooms, and stand up for what we know is right and true based on the US Constitution. That is it for today, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Do you agree with me or disagree with me in this video? Why do you think this guy did it? And also, why do you think the reaction from the American public has been so much like I mentioned, like so much like they want to see, it's like they're watching a movie and they want it to be a certain way, even though we have no freaking idea. Let me know in that comment section down below. And if you like this video, you will love my other firearms related videos. I'll put a link in the description box down below, as well as up in the corner right here, I forget which side every single time. But lastly, if you want any of our Behind Enemy Lines t-shirts, I'll put a link in the description as well as in the video right now for you to check out. Definitely, if you want to support the channel, it's always great to buy one, rep one at the range. I appreciate this journey that I'm going on with you guys. If you have any questions, comments, feedback, let me know. We'd love to start a conversation with you. I will see you next time. Thanks so much.